Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me. I'm Singh, and I work as a senior customer success and project manager at NextB. After working exclusively in sales and sales enablement for over 14 years, I moved into customer success just about a year ago, and I personally haven't loved anything more than that. I love working in customer success, and I feel like it has helped me become better, enable me to take it one step further. As I've grown in the customer success role, I have realized how important it is to, create what we call like a workflow where we go like, hey, this is step one, and then there's step two, and then there's step three. Let's talk a little bit more about this workflow or the customer journey map as we call it. So what is a customer journey map? A major part of product development, sale, or continued service is your customer, right? And to understand your customer is even more important. Customer journey mapping is the entire process of, understanding your customer, understanding the end-to-end series of events that make up the entire story of before your product service, during your product and service, and after your product and service. It is like the complete process where, are the steps a customer takes to reach a goal, whatever that goal may be. A good customer journey map represents the many touch points and feelings during that process. What is critical to note is like each touch point represents a feeling. It doesn't happen that one touch point has a feeling attached to it and another doesn't. These maps can become quite long, and they might involve many actors or personas in there. They may not even be linear. Some of them have multiple, hierarchy to it. But by doing these different customer journey maps, it is possible to identify key use cases that your product and service needs to do incredibly well. They should also be able to identify and include anything that's currently causing a lot of grief, often without good reason, and use cases that really improve your product offering. So why do we need customer journey maps? You might think, I know my product. I know it really well. I know why my customer would want my product, and I know how to sell it. Why do I even need a customer journey map? It's like this, you can say, hey, I have a bow and arrow. I know that's a goal. Let me go and shoot it. Or you can be like, hey, I know that the goal is there, but I also know that I may not be as good at it. I know that I might, I need to understand the direction of the wind. I need to understand how far am I standing from the, uh, how far am I standing from the goal? Do I have the knowledge? Do I have the training required? And then I go to get that training, or I go and check, hey, do I need to stand in this angle or do I need to stand in another angle? It's about that. It's about creating and understanding the difference between just shooting blindly or taking a planned approach. That's what it is. A customer journey map would help you understand what really is going on in your customer's mind. It helps you identify any gaps in customer experience. And the best of all, it helps you generate opportunities. There's also sometimes, that gap between the language your UX designer speaks, your project manager speaks. A good customer journey map helps you bridge all that. And what's most important is while you're doing all this bridging, all of you are speaking the same language. You're thinking about the customer, right? Now, understanding your customer's why is the most important point in creating the customer journey map. The biggest difference in customer journey maps from say 10 years, 12 years ago to today is that today we use an outside in approach versus the inside out. Let me explain that a little bit more. An inside out means, hey, I think about myself first and then I go out. So if I were doing an inside out approach for a customer journey map, I would think about, hey, what are my features? What are my selling points? What are the benefits a customer gets? That's what I'm thinking about. Instead, today what we are doing and what is causing the biggest difference is we're doing an outside in approach. We're thinking about why would a customer reach out? What is going on in the customer's mind? What is happening? And then we think about, hey, how can we fit in with the customer? We are not important. The most important person in this whole process of sale, pre-sale, post-sale is your customer. So what is your customer's goal? That's another big reason. A lot of times, in fact, most of the time, buying your product is not your customer's goal. For instance, I might see a beautiful dress on a mannequin. My goal is not buying that dress, is it? It's not at all. My goal is not even wearing that dress. My goal is are the memories that wearing that dress on a particular occasion will create for me. Similarly, my goal is not buying a frozen pizza. My goal is not even cooking that pizza. My goal is the satisfying the hunger or that emotion or the feeling that somebody would get or I would get or my family would get when I buy that pizza and cook it and eat it. That is the goal. What is very, very important is to understand what is your customer feeling? Why are they feeling what you're feeling? Understanding your customers' why would give you an advantage. The advantage would be you would at every point and touch point, if you're thinking about your customers' why, you're then able to really relate to them, step in their shoes, and really understand what you want. While you're doing that, what are customer personas? You know, Gone are the days where you think about a general persona. Hey, my customer is between 30 to 40 years of age, and they are from a affluent family. They have enough money. That's not what it is. A customer persona is a much more deeper understanding of who your customer could be. It's individualized, it's personalized. You create, hey, I'm a person who, my product is a cab service. So my customer is, say, John. John goes to office every day. John is 25 years old. He goes to office every day. He leaves home at 7:15. He has to reach office at 8 o'clock. His office is 20 miles away. And John has, a problem at office and he really needs to be on time. He cannot be more than 15 minutes late and he has to stick in his budget. That's my customer persona. John does not come to office on Friday and Saturday. He comes to work on Sunday. That's my customer persona. So why am I using customer personas versus a generalized customer persona? It's not even a persona. We're not using a generalized customer identity. We're using a really individualized actor persona. And the reason we do that in the customer success journey or creating this customer journey map is that by identifying a customer persona, you're better able to relate to the customer. You're able to think as the customer. And the more you think as a customer is the more you realize, like, hey, what am I doing right? What will I be feeling at that point of time? How do their personas affect their journey? Very obviously, they do. I may be a 15-year-old or I may be a 20-year-old. Depending on who I am, my customer journey gets affected. Whether I use a single or a multiple persona focus really, really depends on my product. Am I selling to an extremely niche market where I know exactly who my buyer is and who they are, which age group they are from, which demographic they are from, where is, what is the budget that they are looking for? If I'm extremely niche, then yeah, single user, single persona focus works really well. But most of the time, we need to have a multiple persona focus. And the reason I say that is in the same example as a cab service. Am I talking about that user who comes once in a month or twice in a month regularly to get airport drops? Or is my customer persona somebody who takes a regular cab? Or is my customer persona who somebody who has a car of his own and really wants to use this as a standby? Having customer personas and really watching what you're doing or thinking about the customer at that point of time and going about it that way will help you identify and create gaps and opportunities for yourself. Customer journey mapping is a lot of teamwork. And the reason it is teamwork and really important to have everyone from operations, from marketing, from sales, from business, from product, from technology. And the reason you have that is because a developer speaks a different language than a marketing person. And having both of them while creating this customer journey map, and it's really important to take the inputs of each of them. And the reason you take those inputs is the developer would think about, hey, you're the way you're mapping this journey is great, but where do we fit in? The developer gives you those opportunities. The more you interact and understand your product with your developer and your technology, Our sales can come up saying, hey, this is how we can do this better. This is what the marketing going on say, hey, the competitors are doing this. Why aren't we thinking about this? So having different teams in as a part of your customer journey mapping process is only going to benefit you. So let's talk about customer journey mapping 101. For a lot of us, and in fact for me, when I started in customer success, customer journey mapping was like, what are we even talking about? Right? So having some basic idea about research, having knowing what you need to be doing. The first point being research and data gathering. Having good research, understanding about what your customer is happening, what is your product like, why would you how would your product function, what has the past history been. For instance, like we talk about, let's say the same example of the the cab service. We go about saying, hey, how many times has these customers, how often, what is the average travel time, what is the journey period, what is the average timing as to when do we get the most number of bookings from the cabs, on what days are the weakest days. Having all that data would help us in understanding how these customers are reacting and understanding what is actually happening and how each touch point is relating to the data. Having that data and then analyzing as to what you can do better and why you're able to not do something better will then define the anatomy of your customer journey map. It'll help you point out each feeling that your customer is feeling, each pain point they're getting, and each touch point where they are reaching your product. It doesn't have to happen that your product is only at one touch point during the customer journey map. My product can be such that I walk step one, step two, and then I could be like, hey, you can fit in here. I can go to step three and step four and then come back to step one maybe. At each touch point, I can have my product. And then at each touch point, the solution your product provides would be different. The main concept of understanding this customer journey map and creating it is to create an actionable and adaptable journey map, which means we create this map that can be used immediately. It's not created and it's like you don't have to create a product for it or you don't have to do it. You create a map that is can be used today. We don't want to create a map that can be used tomorrow or the day after. We need to create something that is done today. Adaptable, of course, because if you don't adapt, especially in, say, the SaaS industry, it's not going to work. So create a customer journey map to be that can adapt to situations, understand how your customer is feeling. Map your customer's journey. Mapping your customer's journey or creating the customer journey, there are many people who say it's a 7-step, 5-step, it's infinite step. But basically, there are 5 major ideas that go around in a customer's mind. One is the contemplation. They're always thinking about, they have a problem and they know it, but they're still contemplating as to, do I have a problem? Do I have a requirement? Do I have a need? Do I want something? And they're aware then that they do want something and they do know that somebody else has something, right? Just take the example of me going and buying that dress. I'm always contemplating that, hey, do I need more clothes, right? But and then it comes to that stage where I'm aware that, hey, I do need to buy clothes because I have to go to an event. I'm aware that there are sales, there is that dress that I really want. Then I'm considering as to where I want to go and buy and what I want to buy. Finally, I do decide, after much deliberation and many touch points in between the process, that I'm going to make that purchase. But hang on, that's not my resolution. My resolution is actually, do I end up going and wearing that dress? Buying a product is never the end. That is why customer success. That is why this journey map. Because your sale can happen. Sales can really do their job well. They can close the sale. But is the customer using the product? Have they reached the resolution? That's where you really need to fit in. And I would say create the customer journey map in such a way that you get those multiple touch points between the purchase to resolution. Having that will help you understand how you can take this customer journey map beyond sales. What happens between sales and resolution? What is happening? What is the customer feeling? Are they having doubts? Do they think about, hey, should I have gotten a better dress? Is this going to look good on me? People always have second thoughts. They always feel like, should I haven't taken something better? If you want to think about You want to know how to create a customer journey map after the sale? Do you want to test your customer's lifecycle journey? Connect with me on LinkedIn and we'll talk. I'll drop my LinkedIn into the message box and let's connect. Thank you.